Hello, beautiful creative soul. Today's topic is all about, are you committed to a spiritual practice or are you a dabbler? And this is a profoundly important question to ask yourself on your inner awakening journey. Hi, my name is Pollyanna Blanco, and I'm a creative midwife, a sacred self-care coach, a quantum energy healing practitioner, a sacred embodiment chakra dance facilitator, as well as a transformational teacher and an international best-selling author of 2 books. And I'm here today to speak to this topic because one of the most important things that I've been learning along the way is the power of commitment. And I want to just start with breaking down that word to allow the mind to relax and begin to track with what I feel inspired and guided to share with you today. So from Latin, com means to unite, and mito means together. So commitment is all about uniting together. And yet so often what so many of us experience is what I like to call that yes but energy. In other words, there's a push-pull happening inside of us, an inner battle or power struggle. Because you see, what's happening, whether we're conscious of it or not right now on this earth, is we're going through incredible birthing pains. Our world is in a huge transition. And as we speak, there is a new world birthing out there, as well as wanting to birth within you. And oftentimes it can feel like we've got one foot in the old and the other foot in the new, and we're kind of doing the psychic splits. And as a result, this can get really uncomfortable. So I'm here today to reassure you and help you maybe to recognize what has been going on and what you can start to consider that will make your journey just that much smoother, easier, more loving, peaceful, and joyous. Because at the end of the day, when your head hits the pillow, isn't it a wonderful feeling to be able to really rest and wake up the next day refreshed, feeling excited about the fact that you're here now on this planet at this fantastically amazing, miraculous time where so much is possible that's never been possible before for us as humans. And if that sounds lofty and grandiose, it's actually grounded in so many truths, spiritual truths and scientific truths. And so I'm going to be just touching on why understanding commitment to a spiritual practice is so incredibly important. Because number one, when we are committed to a practice, this allows our lower energy centers in our body, because we're so much more than a physical being, to feel reassured. You know, it's like anytime you go on a trip, you want to be reassured that your luggage is going to get there, that, you know, the air travel is safe, and that your hotel is booked, right? You know, when you have that sense of safety, security, because when we're going through transitions, there's still old parts of us that need that in the way that they're used to having that. So having a spiritual practice that we commit to daily, at least in my own life, I can say from my own inner experience, I'm not here to convince anyone, I'm just here to share what's been working for me, is that it has offered, and I know it will offer you, reassurance. And the reason why that reassurance is so incredibly important, and there's a dog barking right now, thank you doggy, is that we otherwise will go into survival mode, we'll go into fight or flight, freeze or fawn. And it's very hard when we're in that that state of being, that survival mode, to sort of see beyond the fishbowl. The second reason that having a spiritual practice that we commit to is so important is that our focused awareness builds and amplifies by our devotion and dedication to a single focus. You know, this whole idea of multitasking is actually not actually something that works. I mean, I've read studies and heard people speak about it, that it's kind of a myth. So when our attention is scattered and diffused, so is our energy. And so having a spiritual focus through a spiritual practice that guides our attention and energy helps us to amplify and build that momentum for us. I'm just scratching my leg right now because there's little critters crawling around here and I'm connecting with them. The third reason having a spiritual practice is so important on your inner awakening journey is that we acknowledge that we are so much more than who we think we are. We begin to pave the way to have those experiences that offer us evidence, if you will, as our own lab rats, that is reassuring to the ego mind. It's reassuring to the body, as I mentioned before, and it's also just reassuring in a way that the change and the shifts that are happening can become not so much fearful as exciting. And instead of them being, instead of clinging to the old and nostalgia, what it does is it allows us to release that clingingness to what was once familiar, even if it wasn't making us happy, even if we were outgrowing it. And it offers us the opportunity to begin to embrace that infinite creative power that's inside all of us in a way that inspires us. It allows more room for inspiration to come in. So I'm just going to repeat again, that's the teacher in me, the three things that are so key and so important. The first one is reassuring the physical body so it's not in fight or flight, and having ways to practice spiritual hygiene, cleanse our body, keep our energy fresh and renewed, and so that we're not just living in our heads, but we're actually embodying and anchoring our awakening. It's not about fleeing the earth plane, it's about bringing it down here and living it and embodying it. The second point, again, is that whole awareness that when we have a spiritual practice, we're not diffusing our energy, we're focusing our energy. And then the third point is, again, about just opening to those infinite possibilities, shifting out of fear into possibility. And so I've been learning along the way that a lot of times people, when they dabble, because I know I did myself, I was like a little kid in a candy store, just wanting to learn every technique out there and just, curious and curiouser. When I did choose to commit to a spiritual practice and apply, in other words, what I'm talking about here, another way to say it is applying my spirituality, because I know for years I read books and I love to study, I love to research, but I wasn't applying it. And when I shifted from just, being a knowledge, well, I'm not going to call it knowledge, a curiosity sponge, because really and truly knowledge is different than intellectual information. And that's something I've been learning on my journey too, that we can have bookshelves filled with books, and that's an important part of the journey, and I don't want to knock it and I don't want to dismiss it. And it's how a lot of us bridge, our programming in this three-dimensional world into this emergence that's happening with and through us. And then we get to a point where we feel like we've read all these books, and how come I still feel stuck, and how come it isn't working the way I thought it would. And then it's easy to throw the baby out with the bathwater and just be like, I don't know. And then we can go back to dabbling, and then we can go back into all kinds of old stories and dramas and traumas and feel hopeless, right? And there's a bug on my, oops. I'm at one with nature today. It's awesome. Oops. I just let this one go back to the, yeah, lovely. So I'm here to just invite you to seriously consider that if you've been a dabbler, if you've been, let's say, trying on many different spiritual outfits, exploring many different things, that's fantastic, that's awesome. and you've been looking for a way to sort of apply what you've been learning, and you're not sure where to begin or where to start, I'm here to offer you some resources that will help you to get some traction and to start seeing those results in your life in a way that will make it easier and easier for you to remember the creator you are on a conscious level. I mean, we're always conscious, we're always constantly creating. It's just a question of, are we conscious of it, and are we creating more of what we want or more of what we don't want? And as a creative midwife, my vision and mission is to help busy, light workers and starseeds and earth angels like yourself awakening to their greater vision and mission to care as much for their energy as they care for the world, so that they can sustain their energy while they're birthing their dreams and not throw in the towel too soon. This is so near and dear to my heart because the world needs you so much right now. There are new humans birthing, and they are amongst us. And you likely are one of them, or you wouldn't be listening to this. It's just, as we're rebirthing ourselves, there are birth pains, there are contractions, and then there are also beautiful expansions too. And so it's really important to surround yourself with people who are starting to become aware of what's going on, who can share with you that you're not alone and that you're not crazy and you're not making things up. And you can begin to step more and more into your divine creative power and lead from your light. And everyone, it doesn't matter whether you're on the inner awakening journey and recognizing this or still sleeping, everyone is playing their role perfectly to help this expansion that's happening, whether we're aware of it or not. But again, if you're here, you're probably aware of it. For sure you're aware of it. And so I just want to let you know that this Thursday, I feel really inspired to share a master class on becoming a multidimensional co-creator, and how this is so important right now, and how to deal with interference energies along the way that might pull you away from trusting in your divine creative power, and to really offer you some soul nourishment. It's going to be a very rich masterclass. You're not going to want to miss it. And please do share that with anyone you know and care about who would be open to it, that it would be supportive for too. I'm going to be doing that in my Luminous Lightworker free private Facebook group. So if you haven't already heard of it, I invite you to go and join that group. I'll include the link below, or if this is on Instagram, you'll find the link in my bio. And it's going to be at 10 a.m. Eastern. And I so cannot wait to connect with you. And I hope you'll be there. And whether live or on the replay, and leave a comment and let me know, what it is that you're feeling called to create. Because there is this beautiful emergence happening on planet Earth right now. And yes, there's a lot of challenges going on right now, absolutely. However, the more you can begin to become aware of the role you're choosing to play in this massive shift on Mother Earth that we're all going through, and choose it consciously, the more empowered you will feel, the more peace, love, and joy you will feel, the more spiritually stable you will feel. And the spiritual stability is different from that kind of 3D emotional stability. I'm going to talk about that too in the master class, because as they say, knowledge is power. And when you have a way to tune in and tap into your own divine knowledge, which is beyond information, and receive inspiration and step into the flow and your reason for being here on a deeper soul level, then life gets juicy good. And I really, really, really want that for you, beautiful soul sister and soul brother and soul human, however you identify. Because, like I said, together we are better. And this is how we pass the baton. This is how we create the ripple effect. And I'm so happy that you're here and listening, and I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. In Lakach Alakin, I am another you, and you are another me. Be well, beautiful creative soul, and see you on Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Remember to click the link and join the group so you can catch it live or on the replay, the masterclass. Be well.